guys, Fred and Sheila McCoy, Hatfield McCoy Museum, FredMcCoy.com. Sheila's behind the camera.
Hi guys, hope you're having a great evening.
We are finishing up on some videos that we've been doing, and just going to be short ones, something just to fill in the day. And they're more like keeping it real because we're correcting things that have been written. And this story just appeared recently on a Facebook page, and this is 2024. These are newer. Oh, I didn't introduce Cotton Top.
You didn't introduce Cotton Top.
Cotton Top.
Watch him look. Hey.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Hi. Hi there, buddy. Hi, sweet boy.
So, the story today, or on this segment, was they're discussing Altina Waller's book. And the community had decided to let it go. Above that it says, it's interesting in this case, he couldn't depend on the justice system because this event had happened in Kentucky, she says. Speaking of Altina Waller, I think while most people were horrified by the violence, it's a justice in a way. The community had decided to let it go.
It's a justice?
This is he couldn't depend, Devil Anse couldn't depend on the justice system. How does he know? Did he let the 3 McCoy boys be taken to Pikeville jail, booked, stand trial, and then they said, not guilty, you're free to go home? Why couldn't he went out and killed them then? He did everybody else like that. They were bushwhackers. They were the Hatfield gang. I'll clarify that this nowadays and say the West Virginia Hatfield gang.
Okay.
Kentucky Hatfields were nothing like that at the time, and the West Virginia Hatfields are nothing like that today. That was Devil Anse's gang of that day. But says that he couldn't count on the Kentucky justice system, Altina says. I think while most people were horrified by the violence, of course they were. Tying 3 boys up to trees, stripping them down naked. There's 2 different stories. There's stories where they were dressed, stories where they were stripped. I wasn't there.
I'm one innocent 15-year-old.
What's it sound like to you? Use your own. What does this man's intellect, Devil Anse Hatfield, what does it sound like to you? You all that's on the Hatfield side, line up. Either you with me or you ain't no Hatfield. That was his words. Yeah. What do you think his mentality was? He was trying to make a point that day. He was trying to say, don't F with the family. Don't F with the West Virginia Hatfields. Okay, we get that. But that's what the justice system was for. Now, you got to realize, this is 20 years after the Civil War. So they had law in West Virginia. West Virginia was just established in 1863. But they had law enforcement there. But Kentucky had law enforcement. Kentucky was established, what, 1792? Kentucky had, what do you mean you couldn't trust Kentucky law enforcement? Kentucky courts? Of course you could. That justice system had been established and working good for a while. At least we know Randall Jr. wouldn't have been hung or shot or killed because he was innocent. At least they would have got the correct 3rd McCoy. But see, he didn't give him a chance to do that. But Altina says that they accepted that. Even though it was horrified, 5 years later, the feud was revived. The feud never died down, guys. Randall McCoy never let that go for 5 years. For 5 years, from 1882 until 1886 or 7, when they shot and killed
Jeff
McCoy, thank you, babe, swimming across the river, that's it. Randall McCoy was running back and forth to Pikeville every other day on horseback, trying to get something done, trying to get warrants served.
Yeah, trying to get justice.
The feud was never revived. It had never ceased. It's just Randall McCoy didn't take it across the river and he didn't take the law into his own hands. He was trying to get the justice system to work.
Yeah, he didn't go to the extremes.
That Devil Anse did. He didn't do what Devil Anse did, and that's the sad thing in life, and that's because people have let it go for so long. But Devil Anse got his name and got the way he was and got so famous because he did what he made jailbreaks. He got his boys escaped from custody of law enforcement. He done everything, and they act like he's a hero for that. That is a common thug. Imagine that going on today. He's a common thug. He was a common thug then. He would be a common thug today. The difference is, just like T.C. Crawford, when he went to interview his neighbors and they wouldn't talk, they were scared of him.
They were definitely
Randall McCoy said Devil Anse Hatfield and the Hatfield gang were mean when they were in numbers. When there was a bunch of them, they were mean in numbers, and they were mean after dark.
Yep.
After dark.
Yep.
That's what I call a coward. That's what you call a coward. Randall McCoy was probably polite to the newspaper, but he should have said they're cowards. Is what he should have said.
Wow.
In numbers, when they outnumber you, and when you're in the dark and you don't know and you surprise somebody.
Yep.
Reached out to the politically connected husband of a member of the McCoy family, Perry Klein, who had his own grudge against Devil Anse after losing a lawsuit to him. In the other video, we just discussed how anything that's ever happened to Devil Anse or to West Virginia Hatfields at that time, these book authors that favor Devil Anse or the West Virginia Hatfields, they always have an excuse. He was in court with Perry Klein. He was in court with Randall McCoy. He was in court with Daniel McCoy, Randall's father. He was in court with all these people. No court records. Is that not peculiar to people? No court records? Perry Klein, who had his own grudge against Devil Anse after losing a lawsuit to him. Wouldn't this been a nice place for Altina to put her lawsuit in here? Perry Klein versus Anderson Hatfield, or Anderson Hatfield versus Perry Klein? Wow. What evidence? There is none. Don't exist. There was never a court case. That was spoken into history by Hatfield historians, Hatfield book writers, West Virginia Hatfield, Devil Anse Kool-Aid drinking fan club. They spoke that into history, and they still speak it into history today because this was just posted on a Facebook page a couple of days ago.
Wow.
So they're still trying to sell it to you today. And a whole lot more people goes to these Facebook websites or other videos than they do Sheila's or mine. So not everybody gets to see this. So if you guys would, hit share there.
Yeah.
Hit like and share and all that stuff so other people can see the truth. Klein convinced the governor of Kentucky to issue arrest warrants against the Hatfields. Klein convinced the governor of Kentucky to issue arrest warrants. Go to the back of the video when Sheila's done and she'll post you when the arrest warrants, the indictment, Kentucky indictment arrest warrants for 20 men. And look at the date at the top of that, 1882. 1882. She's saying 5 years later, the feud was revived when Perry Klein went and got the governor to issue warrants. Guys, governors don't issue warrants. Criminal justice system issues warrants. Commonwealth attorneys, county attorneys, your judicial system issues warrants, not the governor of Kentucky. The arrest warrants caused panic among some of the Hatfields. Let's go back to the warrants. I just seen warrants there. The governor didn't issue warrants. Governor Sam Buckner, the 30th governor of Kentucky.
Simon Buckner.
What'd I say?
Sam.
Thank you, sweetheart. Sam Hill's probably who I was thinking.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah. Simon Buckner. Thanks, baby. Oh, I love having you around. So good
you.
correcting me. Governor, the 30th governor of Kentucky, Simon Buckner, issued $500 rewards. The arrest warrants had been issued since 1882.
Yep, we got them over there.
August 1882, just a few days when the grand jury met and indicted 20 men for killing those 3 McCoy boys. Those were issued then. Those were warrants. 1882. Not 5 years later, not by a governor. The governor simply put up the money. He sent a letter to West Virginia governor, said, send Devil Anse and that group of Hatfield gang over here. And he wouldn't do it. So he issued $500 rewards. So they could, bounty hunters would
Go get
start collecting. And they did. Waller describes the son of Devil Anse as hotheads, who gathered several employees of the family timber business on New Year's Day, 1888, to capture Randall McCoy at the Kentucky cabin where he lived with his family. See how they word things, guys? I love it. I hope some of you guys are out there picking up before I'm even saying it. I hope you're picking up on it and saying, and you've done told your spouse, because that's fun when you're sitting there discussing things and you know you're right. Listen to that again. Who gathered several of the employees at the timber business on New Year's to capture Randall McCoy at the Kentucky cabin where he lived with his family. Capture?
For what?
Capture Randall McCoy for what? Didn't have no warrants on Randall McCoy. Didn't have no Civil War's not, it's over. Capture. They went there to exterminate. They went there to kill Randall McCoy. Sarah McCoy, Tolbert's wife, because she had come to the church, to the schoolhouse to see the 3 boys. They come there to exterminate, kill them all.
Well, because if they come there to get those, then there's witnesses to that, so they have to take those witnesses out. And so
kill the whole family. Yeah. Because what wasn't witnesses before, there's now witnesses, even down to Melvin and Cora, the little children of Tolbert's that were there.
Yep.
Kill them all. Let God sort them out.
Wow.
They didn't come there to capture nobody, but do you notice how she wrote that?
It's sad.
She didn't want to badmouth because the West Virginia Hatfields, or the Hatfield at the time, was going to be her clientele. Jimmy Wolford told us one time.
Years ago.
We said, Jimmy, why is your songs so one-sided? Did you know how tall? Oh, he's a little bitty fella. Why did you say he was? That was my market. Guys, it's called marketing. And it is. It's called marketing.
But what about the truth?
She didn't want to piss the West Virginia Hatfields off, and she says that they went there to capture Randall McCoy. What were they going to do with them when they captured him? What? We've got you now, Randall. You're captured. What are you going to do with them? You ain't got no warrants. You can't take them to jail. You're going to take them home to live with you? Y'all get the point. Randall escaped with his other children to the Klein's home in Pikeville, Kentucky. This is where the press coverage comes in from. Waller says of the resulting national headlines in newspapers across the nation, the first news reports come from Perry Klein and set the tone for the coverage of the rest of the feud. Ever who wrote this in that, on that Facebook page, is saying that Waller says that the resulting national headlines in the newspaper across the nation. The first news reports came from Perry Klein. Did they? Did they? Did they come from Perry Klein? I haven't seen them. Sheila?
Nope.
We could have overlooked them. We could have missed them.
Yeah.
We haven't seen them. Newspapers. We've got newspapers back to, Lord of mercy, way back.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be hard to find. Guys, the first national news coverage, well, it was national when they killed the 3 McCoy boys.
Right.
It was already national when they killed the 3 McCoy boys. It was all over the news. But when they come in there with Hillbilly, when they come in there with the national coverage, is when T.C. Crawford came from New York City and interviewed and stayed with and ate with Devil Anse Hatfield. We've got a whole segment on T.C. Crawford all back through there.
Yep.
How he felt about Devil Anse Hatfield after he met him. Now, he didn't tell Devil Anse while he's standing there in front of him, "You old scoundrel, you're a savage." He didn't tell Devil Anse that because Devil Anse would have killed him. because Devil Anse had numbers. He had Winchester rifles all over his beds in the cabin. And he had 9 guards on duty at any time around his home. Numbers. He was a mean man because he had numbers. When he slept in that bed in there over top of the hardware store, the country store there at Metter, he had numbers. On the other side of his room, where he slept in that bed, there was another bed where his bodyguards slept to make sure nobody could get to him. He paid them. He had money. He paid them guys. They didn't do it out of love and affection. They done it because they were getting paid. Randall escaped. Now, Waller says she is pleased that the true story of the Hatfields and McCoy is gaining attention with the American Experience documentary, and that her book is still in print. She says the feud has relevance today. Waller is pleased that the true story, guys, we've said it in many of our videos, Sheila and my book, they're historical fiction. We probably got one of the truest, most accurate books that's out there. But on that first or second page, it'll say historical fiction, because even though it's historical, we don't know the complete truth.
That's right.
But you'll see books, the true story, the feud, the true history. That's not us. Nobody knows the true, accurate story on every story that they have in those books. Maybe some of their stories may be accurate. Altina Waller, I'd say her name's correct in her book. When I was writing this book, I was thinking a lot about the issues of modernization, industrialization worldwide, and the question of how can you bring the benefits of industrialization and modern society without the exploitation and the violent conflicts. She says, I don't know. How did Kansas City, how did Spokane, Washington, how's anybody? How did anybody get modernized in these cities without going through this slaughtering citizens phase? Altina, you act like that's part of becoming modern. You act like that's part of modernization, that you have to go through this phase. That's not true. That's not true. There's states and countries, there's counties all over the United States that got developed and created. Nobody went through nothing like this. This had nothing to do with modernization or socialization. This had to do with a man deserting the Civil War, causing hard feelings, killing people,
murder,
bushwhacking, Hatfield gang, power in numbers, cowardness. That's what it had to do with.
Bullying.
Yeah, it had to do with nothing but a little 5'6" bully. And through the years, other people like ourselves have let it go and go and go. And it has grown and grown and grown till Devil Anse today. And that's why we were bragging on a gentleman's video a while back, because the way they started out, had a person not spoken up and said something, it was totally out of line. And now we're so proud of people. People don't have to favor one side or the other. Tell the truth. It only favors one side or the other. Tell the truth and let people pick their poison. But at least tell the truth. And that's what people's researching now. We're so proud of people. We are. We have no animosity toward nobody personally. We have disagreements, just like on these papers here that was just printed on again, it's their Facebook page. They can print and post anything they want. That's their prerogative.
That's right.
What we're going to start doing is we're going to start responding to it in the same manner we are today. And if we can prove it wrong or give evidence in a different manner, that's what we'll do.
There you go.
And that's how it's supposed to work. It'll equal out. But we've got to get some people sharing these videos. We've got to get them out there, because this is the truth, people. We're telling you the truth. We're showing you documentation. Sheila's going to put more documents at the back of this video you've probably done seen 100 times. But we put them there so you don't have to go back and look. You don't have to go look because
right
Sheila done it for you. That's right. You don't have to go find it. Sheila found it for you.
Yeah.
And I think that's neat that you don't have to. You don't have to question every time or go look at. She tries to put these forms on every video that it pertains. If we mention a document or a court case or a death certificate or a birth certificate, and she's got it. She posted at the end of that video so you can have it readily available. Altina Waller, PhD, author, historian, and we're where we're at on that story and other stories. I'm not going to bring up the other books because she's back there looking at me. Sheila don't like, I don't think it's really wrong because people wrote this. People wrote this stuff.
Right.
People said this stuff. And the good thing is that they can correct it. Correct it with history. Correct your books.
That's right.
Sheila and I's on our 5th, 6th edition now. We're getting ready to come out. It's going to be the best book that we've ever done. That's the way it should be. With knowledge, with photographs, it should improve. You don't have to stick with your same. She's got a couple of videos that we ain't put out yet on a fellow that done a book way back. He done a book way back. And he still, even though it's been proven different, some of the stuff that he had in his book, and we respect this guy as an author and a human. He's a good guy. But we need to post them the next couple of days too.
Okay.
Let's put them out because you can't, you got to change with times. Change with the evidence as it's produced. And correct yourself. Guys, Sheila's going to do the ending on this one. Thank you. Catch you next time.
Hi guys, hope you're having a great evening. Please like, subscribe, and share. And we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.